Hello everyone, Storm11 here. Today we'll be taking a look into my January 2021 forecast. My forecast does include temperatures, precipitation, and also the overall forecast. Not only will we take a look to my forecast, we'll also take a look to a couple models and also the Climate Prediction Center's forecast as well. Let's go ahead and get started with my forecast here, and some of you guys probably not going to like it, some of you guys are probably will like it. And, this is quite a different looked at my last winter forecast, which I did not have time to make a final one, but I wish I would had time because it probably looked similar to this. And as we look here across the north, now before you go, hit dislike button or whatever, or go in the comments of hate about this outlook here. Let me show you guys something here about these temperatures. This is your max air temperatures. Now, this is your average. For areas that actually have above average region, your average temperature is 10 to 20 degrees. Now, with above average zone, your average temperatures will probably be 20 to maybe 30 degrees there as well. Now, slightly above average probably won't change that much. It's only about a couple degrees. And when you talk about above average temperatures, you're talking about probably 5 to 10 degrees above average there as well. So areas across the north, your temperature average is still very cold. I mean, 10 to 20 degrees. That's some pretty cold temperatures there. And with those above average temperatures, your average temperatures will still be below freezing. So just to keep in mind that if I want to put you guys, above freezing, it'll be well above average here, which I'll talk about. This is just about why the north is going to be above average with those temperatures. But this is your average max temperatures here as well. You can see across the south it's only 60 to 70 degrees with pockets of 70 to 80 degrees there as well. So going back to my forecast here, above average temperatures may be expected across northeastern Montana, North Dakota, northern Minnesota, far northern Wisconsin, and portions of upper Michigan there as well. Areas in the yellow will expect to see slightly above average temperatures here as well, which also does include the Northwest and also expanding into the Northeastern United States. Now, we do have some uncertainties with the Southwestern United States. I'm not sure if they're going to be more average or they could be a little bit above average. There's some uncertainties with the P&A, which we'll talk about that in just a moment. But there's some uncertainties there, so I'll keep it guys EC, which means equal chances for now. The Southeast, I got you guys again, this time a much larger area for slightly below average temperatures there as well. So that's the temperature map. Let's move on to our precipitation forecast map. We have two areas of slightly above average precipitation. You got one across the northwest, and you got another one along the east coast here, and also for portions of the southeastern United States there as well. I do expect the majority in the United States to be slightly below average with precipitation for January. Now, this is a pretty, typical El Nino setup, but we're actually in a La Nina, which the teleconnections is what's driving the pattern right now, and it's likely to continue throughout January, which I'll show you guys in just a moment. But I forgot to put this in. EC, if you're not in the area or or you're in the area of EC, that just means equal chances, or you can say, just average there as well. That could also mean that way as well. Now let's look into the overall forecast here. I do expect the majority of the United States to be dry, pretty much. Now the Northwest. Let's talk about the Northwest. Flip-flop pattern. This typically means that you guys could likely see a cooler average temperatures possibly, but it's actually going to be more of a stormy pattern, especially in those mountains where we do expect some above average snowfall across some of these regions here. But with that P&A, when it becomes positive, most of the western United States will turn warmer and drier. So that's why we're going to put you guys to the flip-flop pattern there as well. Which there's some uncertainties with the P&A, which I'm starting to see trends to a stronger P&A, which can really contribute to the weather across the eastern United States there as well, which I'll show you guys in just a moment. But again, the majority of the United States, central southern plains, portions of the Midwest, a decent chunk of the Rockies, and also the desert Southwest as well, do expect some dry conditions. But temperatures will probably be a little bit more closer to average. Across the north, I do expect you guys to be mild and dry. Now, you guys could still see snow. Don't forget about that. You guys could still see snow. Probably the only very few ways to get snow is probably clipper systems, Alberta clippers, which could give you guys some snow up there, but I think it's just generally going to be mild and dry. Now let's look to the east. This is where things get quite interesting. Areas in the light blue. I do expect you guys to see cool conditions. Could be a little bit drier as well. We're going to see about that. And dare I say, especially across the south, snow chances. I don't think uh, areas, Louisiana, Texas, I don't think you guys can see snow chances, but the further north you go, the higher chance you can see some snow. Now, when we talk about snow, we're talking about like snow showers, snow flurries. Accumulation's not too big of a deal. When you get to areas like in the dark blue here, which this may have to be shifted to the southeast, we'll see. This is actually where I have a little bit higher confidence on colder and snowy conditions. And I cannot roll out a snowstorm. This pretty much includes the Ohio Valley and portions of the Appalachian Mountains there as well. Areas in the peak. This is a winter battle zone. This is where you can see a mix of rain, wintry mix, and also some snow. Potentially some of these regions here. There's just some uncertainties across most regions there as well of what type of precipitation of what you can get. But I think you have a mix of everything there. Areas across the southeast, I do expect cool and stormy conditions here, especially when we get lows, especially when they go further south. You guys could see some storms around, a decent amount of rain, and also be a little bit cool as well. Now, can I roll out for some chances for severe weather mainly across Florida as well? So probably have to watch for that as well. And the last area, which is the northeast, there's a chance you guys could see some nor'easters. The chances are there for what the setup I'm going to show you guys here. And that's pretty much my forecast there. Let's quickly take a look to some models. So this is pretty much what pattern we're kind of in right now. Now, let me get my pen out real quick, and let me show you guys what's going on here. Let's see. Let's get green here. So we got well above average height anomalies right here. This is like high pressure, or you could say this is a negative AO and also negative NAO in these regions here. And this brings the cold a little bit more focused across the southeast United States. But look across around Alaska in some of these regions here. Well below average height anomalies there as well. This is where we kind of have some low pressure systems on average. In these regions here, these are more like high pressure systems there as well. And you can see here, even some of this high pressure does expand across a good chunk of the central and western United States here as well. And this is what we also call stratospheric warming. This is what we're starting to see now. This is where in the stratosphere, where temperatures are really starting to warm across a good chunk of the Arctic Circle here. And this is kind of leading to a negative AO and also a negative NAO as well. And the negative NAO is becoming a little more western based. It'll start to move towards the west. And you can see here with some of those well above average high anomalies, it does include across portions of the north, which does lead to more warmer and drier conditions. That's why I got you guys in above average temperatures and also as well as below average precipitation. Now let's move on to week 2. This is where things get very interesting. So this is January 10th to the 17th. So basically this is mid-January here. We got a positive PNA going on here across the west. This is going to bring warmer and drier conditions across the west. Meanwhile, pretty much the entire Arctic Circle is under above average height anomalies. You got a western based negative NAO. You also got a negative AO there as well. And well below average height anomalies there. But look across the southeast. Now this is on a kind of an average for a week. It actually shows troughing across a good chunk of the southeast United States. Now, typically with an average here, your lows will be somewhere like right in here. Let me make that into a different color here real quick. So basically, your lows can somewhere be around these regions here on average, which does give a chance for some of these regions here could see some snow. Now, dare I say that, especially this far south here. Now, this is just, uh, an average here for a week, and there may be a chance some of these areas could receive some snow. As we kind of continue on to week 2, it pretty much moves out at that point there, and this is where uncertainties still get pretty high. Your PNA is starting to slowly fade away, but we still see some pretty good above average, height anomalies. Still got negative NAO and negative AO going on there, but your positive PNA starts to move away a little bit, so that's kind of going to lead to some a little bit above average height anomalies there as well. Now let's kind of go back to what's kind of going on right now. Let's look into precipitation. And as you can see here, generally most of the United States would be below average for precipitation, exception for the Northwest. There as well. Pretty much the entire United States would be dry. It's a pretty quiet pattern, typically, when you see something like that. Now, pretty much continuous. Now, I kind of disagree here with this setup here. Now, if we're going to see a positive PNA, I think these regions here should be more drier. Okay, keep in mind of that. Especially when you have ridging like that, your guys will be warmer and drier. So I disagree with the northwestern United States altogether. I think it's going to be drier. I also disagree across the southeast here, especially when you got trophic here. I think generally areas with a chance of above average precipitation will be across these regions right in here, especially up along the east coast there as well. So I generally disagree altogether with the CFS here as well. And if you move to the next week, when things kind of start to fall apart, it actually now starts to show above average precipitation across the eastern United States. And it does continue to show above average precipitation across the northwest, which I do agree, at least for week number 3 as well. But we start to get far out, things are likely going to change there as well. Let's look at the temperatures. And yeah, this is your temperatures right here, folks. You've got well above average temperatures across most of Canada. I mean, it's off the charts. I mean, this is in Celsius here. That is well above average temperatures there when you think about that. And this is part of stratospheric warming. You also got the negative NAO and also negative AO here as well around the same time. And that's going to bring ridging across most of Canada. So your cold air won't be going here, and also your cold air won't be around the Arctic Circle. It'll be scattered across the northern hemisphere. Some of your cold air may get into the United States, some of it will go into, Asia or even Europe there as well, which is off the map here. But there's a potential for maybe 3 different polar vortex, which someone did mention on Twitter earlier today or yesterday, something like that. But anyways, here. The CFS models predicted well above average temperatures, especially across the northern United States and also much of Canada there as well. If we move into week 2, pretty much the same thing. But look across the southeast United States. It's turning a little bit cooler. Now, I think it's underdoing the cooler than normal temperatures. I think I'll say to expand it a little bit further north, maybe as far north as the Ohio River Valley there as well. But again, look across the north. Well above average temperatures across a good chunk of Canada here as well. Even some numbers kind of going off the charts there as well. That's pretty much 20 to 30 degrees above average in Fahrenheit. But this is in Celsius, and that is some well above average temperatures. And that'd be pretty impressive there as well. And then pretty much the same thing, but your colder than average temperatures does fade away for the southeast of the United States, but again, it's still well above average temperatures across Canada, which even sags a little bit further south. But again, this is week 3. You're talking about late January at this point, so this is likely going to change here. But there's been a trend here, and there's also a really good agreement that we're expected to see a negative NAO and also negative AO. But in week 2, models are trending towards a positive PNA, which is a perfect setup for winter for snow lovers across the east. Now, for analog wise, some of the most recent ones will be 2010 and 2011, and what those had in common was major winter storms that are along the east coast, especially across the northeastern United States. We have one of those years, I believe there was a blizzard across some of these regions here, bringing in a lot of snow as well. So this is a really good setup for winter lovers. Generally speaking, the eastern United States here. Really, areas I'm going to highlight here does have a chance to see some snow. Generally, this area here speaking may have a chance to actually see some snow. Better confidence will be areas, in the pink here, and that would be across, the northeast and maybe as far south as, maybe these regions here as well. But there's still high uncertainties here across the southeast there as well if you're going to see snow or not. It's really going to depend on that dynamic cooling from some of these systems here. But you can see here, your polar jet stream is pretty much missing. It's pretty much blocked off by this large high pressure system across Canada here. So the low pressure system itself has to make its own cold air, and that's going to be the high uncertainty there as well. Because your polar jet stream is Uh, looks like part of it may be right there, but yeah, you can see your polar jet stream is pretty much missing. And pretty much what this is doing at this point here is your subtropical jet stream, which you can actually kind of tell right here. Your subtropical jet stream goes something like this here, and if it goes over these warm waters here, it can deepen very quickly here, and you can see blizzard conditions possibly on the wintry side of the system there. So, but again, there's still some high uncertainties if most of these systems have enough dynamic cooling on the backside of the system to produce any snow or not. Let's move into the Kansas model, and as you can see here, now this is an average for January, so this is the entire month. You can see here, very impressive, well above average high anomalies here, but look across the eastern United States. Below average height anomalies here. Now for an average for, your low pressure systems, your average will be something like this here. And it kind of brings the bullseye for winter weather. Maybe these regions here, maybe not that big of a circle there, but maybe, just maybe, generally, these regions here speaking, might be able to see some winter storm action. We're going to see there's still some absurdities here, but what the Kansas Ball is saying here, your average for your low pressure systems will be something like this. On the northern side there, if there's enough dynamic cooling, there could be some snow. So we're going to watch that very closely there. But you can also see here, there is some ridge across the southwestern United States there as well, which could lead to some of these below average high anomalies a little bit into the northwestern United States there as well. So we'll be watching this pretty closely here, but there's some absurdities with that there as well. Let's look into those tail connections. These are very important. So this is the NAO. This is from the GFS model. This is 14 days out. So pay attention to this graph right here. Now this is about right now. It's kind of like right in there. You can see we do stay below average, a negative NAO throughout at least the first half of probably mid-January there is what you see. It goes as far out as January the 16th there as well. And if we go into the Ensembles Outlook here, so this is 14 days. Now as you can see, generally speaking, there's a decent agreement that it will stay below this zero line, which is right here, which will be considered as a negative NAO. So that's a green for winter weather across the eastern United States. Now this is the ensembles for the AO. And as you can see here, it goes. Some of these spots just go off the charts here, but I don't think we'll get that well. I don't think we'll get a very strong negative AO there, but you can see here, there's even some models that bring it pretty far under the zero line there as well, so we'll kind of watch that closely there, but that's also a green right there for winter weather for the United States. Now this is where the uncertainties come in. This is the PNA right here, and you can see here, we're about right here right now. You can see here, it kind of stays a little bit positive and also around average there. This is going to be really tricky for the northwestern United States. If it's going to stay above average, you guys will probably more likely see warmer, dry conditions. But if it stays around average, you guys will probably see a more cold and snowy look. I mean, a cold and stormy look there as well. So that's why I put the northwest in a flip-flop pattern there as well, because there's still some uncertainties with that. And this is the ensembles here. You can see here, generally speaking, there's a decent agreement that will stay positive, which is a green for a, well, this is actually not a green for the western United States. This is actually will lead to warmer, dry conditions across the west. But however, for the eastern United States, this is good to go. And you don't see these setups happen that often. And typically, when you have something like this, you can at least see a chance for a couple big storms in the eastern United States there as well. So the chances are there to see that. Alright, the Climate Prediction Center. I tell you what, I don't expect this to verify at all. I mean, seriously. You know, this is the completely opposite that I'm pretty much seeing right now. To be honest, the Climate Prediction Center has just been wrong for the past couple of months now. And I just feel like they're just completely ignoring the fact that there's going to be a negative NAO and also negative AO as well. And even models are trending towards a positive PNA there as well. And they're still locked in on a La Nina pattern, which we do have a La Nina, but the two biggest players are controlling the weather is actually the negative NAO and the negative AO. Those are the ones that are controlling the weather right now. And what a few people have mentioned on Twitter, that, they expect us to be wrong, which I highly agree. I mean, I'll say the southeastern United States will be cooler than normal, not above average. I'll say the northwestern United States will probably be more average or above average with temperatures there as well. And I'll say the northern plains will actually be more above average than average. So generally, I completely disagree with this forecast here as well with the Climate Prediction Center. I just feel like at this point they're just ignoring the negative NAO and the negative AO, and with the trending towards a positive PNA. That's honestly kind of ridiculous in my opinion. They're just ignoring that. Now, precipitation, also disagree somewhat with a pattern that I'm talking about here. Generally speaking, these areas will actually be more drier, unfortunately. You guys just need some rain. What's some good news here, some of these regions here did see some rain not long ago, even for some thunderstorms as well, which is kind of rare across those regions there as well. So at least you guys got some rain, but unfortunately, I think you guys are still going to continue to see drier than normal conditions. I disagree with the Great Lakes here. Typically, those areas will be drier than normal. Although one thing I do agree, probably south of this line here, I do agree here, for to see some above average precipitation, but really north of the line, no. I think it'd be more either average or drier than normal. I think this area I think that area is okay. I mean, I do agree with the northwest there as well, and I guess I'll agree with that there as well. But overall, I just disagree with the Climate Prediction Center overall. And I do expect this forecast to, if the models are going to be correct, this forecast is going to fail. I mean, seriously, this forecast will fail. I mean, the Climate Prediction Center, I pretty much disagree with their forecast there as well. And that's just my honest opinion. Here's what they just not been doing well for the past couple months there as well. But anyways, guys, this is Arc for you guys today. Hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you guys like this video, hit the like button. If you really do like my channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification so you never miss an upload. If you guys have questions about this, you can put in the comment section down below. I'll answer you guys questions. I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.